Oh, that sounded horrible. Hey guys, it's Nicole. It's MECCA Max's first birthday this month. To celebrate, I created this amazing gold party look. Keep watching to see how to recreate it. To start my base, I'm going to take the MECCA Max Illuminating Primer to prep my skin and give a glow. I'm warming up in my hands and applying it with my fingers so that it emulsifies into the skin. This feels super fresh on my skin and makes my skin look so radiant. I'm going to take my MECCA Max Life Proof Foundation on a wet sponge. And I'm going to bounce and press this into my skin. I love the buildable medium coverage that this gives me, and if I want it for an everyday wear I can, and if I want to build it up for nighttime I can. This also has a beautiful satin, natural skin-like finish. So making sure you take it up into the hairline, take it down my neck. I'm just building a little extra coverage around my nose because this is where most redness peeks through. And I always take a little bit on my eyelids to make sure that I have a super even complexion. Next up is my MECCA Max Life Proof Concealer to help brighten up my under eyes. I'm taking this right into the inner corner because this is where I get my darkest. And then just blending it outwards and using my damp sponge to blend that in. This is really helping cover those bags. I'm going to take the tiniest bit on the tip of my nose to cover those little Rudolph pimples. I'm going to take this translucent powder to set all over my face to make sure that it lasts me all night. Just going to set my T-zone where those hot spots can get a little bit shiny. And I'm going to take it under my eyes to prevent creasing. And then also set my eyelids so that the eyeshadow later on goes on really smooth. Next up, I'm going to use the light bronzer to help chisel out these cheekbones. So because I have quite fair skin, I always make sure that when I'm dipping in, I tap off the brush and I really brush it off to make sure that it doesn't over apply. I have to use quite a light hand. I'm going on top of the cheekbone to add a little bit of an extra shadow to make it look super sharp. And then when I take it around the hairline, I like to blend it in so it makes it look like I have a little bit more of like a natural sun kiss. And I love using more of like an angular brush when I'm applying contour or bronzer just to make sure it really hugs the cheekbone. And then always around the jawline just to make it look super angular. I do like taking it just around the sides of my nose, just lightly, nothing crazy, just for a little bit of extra bronziness. And then I take just the tiniest bit down my neck to make sure the foundation and everything is blending really seamlessly. I'm going to take the blush in Gold Glow, and I like using it on the same brush that I had my bronzer on, just so that the whole look is super cohesive. I also love that this has a little bit of gold in there to give a really nice luminosity to the skin. To blend everything together, I'm just going to take my big fluffy brush again and just go over everything. It's time for everybody's favorite part, highlight. I'm going to take the white gold skin halo, but first I'm going to use the tip that I learned from Steve from Urban Decay. I'm going to take the Banana Bake Blurring Setting Spray and spray it all over my face so that when it's wet, the highlight will stick to it. So not only will this set your makeup, but it'll give you an insane glow. So I'm taking that on the tops of my cheekbones in a little C shape above my brow, and then underneath the brow on the brow bone, just to create a little pocket of light. I love this shade on my fair skin as well. I'm going to spray my face again, just to make sure it's nice and wet. Down the center of my nose, right on the tip, and then the top of the Cupid's bow, which looks so nice when you're wearing a lipstick. Next up, I'm going to tame these brows with the Brow Guru. First, I like to brush them up so that I can really see the shape of them. I really like to warm it up on the back of my hand before I go in. And then I'm going to start in the middle of the brow and just do really short hair-like strokes. And I go in really lightly at the front of the brow, just so that it doesn't get too heavy and we have a nice transition from light to dark. Always use my spoolie to blend it all in. And then I like to extend the tail of my brow. I really love that this micro pencil has such a straight, sharp line, so it makes it so you can really create almost fake hairs. I can't go a day without brow gel because I have such crazy Italian eyebrows. It really creates a hold and just keeps them in place all day. And I like to brush them slightly upwards, but not straight up so they're not crazy. So it's time for the fun part. I'm going to start on my eyes using the Wink Weapon Embellished Eyeshadow Palette. So using my big fluffy blending brush, I'm going to dip into the medium brown shade. I always like to tap off my brush to make sure that I don't get any fallout. Because this is a medium shade, it's just going to create some shape and dimension for us. And with that same shade, I'm just going to pat that right on the outer part of my eye to give a little bit of darkness. I've just used more of a flat, dense brush. I'm taking the big fluffy brush again to really make sure it's all blended smoothly. I'm using my flat, dense brush again to really pack on that darker color. This will ensure that I get a lot more depth. I'm just using this right on the outer part of my eye. And then with that medium shade, I'm gonna take it to blend it out so we don't get the darkness going too high. I really like taking the eyeshadow closer out to the tail of my brow to make it so that my eye seems more elongated. On a smaller brush, I'm going to take that medium brown shade again and place that underneath my eye to create extra smokiness. So this is like an ugly face when you're doing underneath your eye. It's like... And then on a detail smudger brush, I'm going to take the dark brown shade and really press that quite close to my lashes to mirror what we've done on top. To help brighten up my eyes, I'm going to use the same highlighter that I used on my cheeks on the inner corner of my eye. I'm using a more small detail brush just so I can get right into the little nook. To really amp up the look, I'm going to take the Illuminating foiled eyeshadow in Gold Rush. I'm going to use my finger to apply this because this is what will really warm it up. Popping it on the back of my hand first, and then just doing slow patting motions. And then to blend out the edges so it's not as harsh, I'm taking a clean finger and just going around the outside of it. And I only place this right on my eyelid and I'm blending it slightly upwards. Even using my pinky finger to get right in there. Look at that. Warming it up on the back of my hand again. I love the texture of these as well. They're so easy to apply, but you do have to work quite quickly. Look at that. So just using my clean finger again to blend it out. Just packing a little bit more on to get that extreme color payoff. I got a little bit excited and took that Gold Rush eyeshadow just a little bit too far, so I'm gonna put just the tiniest bit of that dark brown back on so you can make it nice and smoky. I'm going to use the brown eyeliner in the waterline of my eye just to add a little bit more smokiness. I feel like this really helps to define my eyes as well. I also love how brown liner looks with green eyes, especially a warmer color. It really makes them pop. I'm going to put on some mascara just to help volumize my lashes and make them super black. This is also going to start prepping them for the falsies. Now time for falsies. I'm just going to use a couple of individual eyelashes on the outer part of my eye to add a little bit of extra drama. I just use my fingers because I feel like I have more control, and I place it into the little nook where your eyelashes grow from. The one thing I learned with eyelashes was that it does take a lot of practice, but practice makes perfect. So I place it down and then I like to start positioning it. So the glue does go on white, but don't worry, it does dry completely clear. To keep the eyes a focus, I'm going to use a nude lip in Poker Face, and it just pops straight out. So here is the finished look. It's golden, it's glitzy, it's glam, perfect for a party. I hope you enjoyed watching. Let me know in the comments below what looks you want to see next, and happy birthday, MECCA Max.